Home repair, needles, and the horrifying meld between father and son is the horrifying conclusion to Schlocktoonbrr. Okay?
It's like Bugsy Malone.
I'm trying, damn it.
That's fair. Let's play the song. Hey everybody, welcome to WatchBots. It's my Wolfman Jack voice. Good?
I'm glad that you told us what it was.
Was it clear what it was?
No.
All right.
No.
All right, we'll workshop that one. All right, anyway, so we're the podcast podcast for the cartoon fright freaks out there. Where my fright freaks at?
Yeah.
That's right.
Hello.
This is the Bendello of Blood, and I am with the spooky Liam Neeson wolf-themed movie, The Shay, Lynn, and the creepiest computer program ever created, Davis Beacon Teaches Typing.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Edgar Allan Poe's The Daven?
Yeah, all right. If you're going for something legitimate, that's fine. That's fine.
Fine.
It's fine. It's fine. We're having fun.
Bendello of Blood.
Yes.
Should we just go with Tales from the Crypt movies themes? So Shaylin would be a Knight of the Shaylins. There we go. We got it.
No.
I couldn't remember what the other ones even were.
I think there was just two.
Mm-hmm. I could just go with Dennis Miller, encompass them all.
I could be Donna Dave Recco.
Yeah. I also had Ben Head in the chamber, but you know, well, when these recording lights are on, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to say some shit.
Saying words.
So I work in an office.
Do you?
This is not a controversial statement. And
Ben, they'll know who you are now.
I know my office address is, but today was my company's Halloween costume party.
Oh,
And it's okay. Like it not for me. One, because I'm not interested. And two, I feel like showing up in full Adam West Batman regalia would have been a step too far for the office. But
I disagree.
3, like all your costumes are sexy versions of costumes. So
Yeah.
like sexy Transformer, sexy Ghostbuster, sexy Sandwich,
werewolf.
just by virtue of
Yeah.
me wearing them, that's the
sexy
appeal that I bring.
tampon.
It's also weird that you always wear the belly shirt version, but
That's because I'm tall. But the point is, so folks were walking around today in their costumes, and it's cool. You know, you want to get into it. I have no problem with that. This was until I was nearing the end of the day, and I heard like, "Oh, thanks for coming in. We'll let you know how it goes." And I looked, and somebody was dressed up like kind of like a witch, and I realized, oh, there have been people coming in for job interviews all day today. And like,
so good.
like these higher ups have been in their costumes interviewing people, and I can't even imagine walking into that.
What if they just thought like it was every day?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys just dress like this all the time?
We're
Okay.
the counterculture company.
Yeah.
that person got home from their interview and their spouse was like, "Oh, honey, how did it go?" Well, the interviewer was Elvira, but other than that, it seemed fine.
Like I sat there
Busty.
for like the last 10 minutes of my workday, and I was like, what would I do? And like I couldn't come up with an answer. Like it was just mind locking me. It was insane.
My hiring manager was dressed like Clark Kent, and the woman I'd be working with was dressed like a sexy werewolf. It was weird. I couldn't deal with it.
The hiring manager was James Franco from that movie where he's a mountain climber and he has to cut his arm off. And
It was accurate, his costume. Like he went method and actually cut his hand off during the interview.
went further method and just started. He set up an acting school and told me I had to do nude scenes. And It's not good for anybody.
And my career still hasn't taken off.
Yeah.
I didn't get the job.
Gah.
Ugh.
So
That's a little much. I have a office story.
Oh boy.
Ish. Yeah. Let me ask a question to Shaylin. Shaylin, what are women's rooms like in your office or your place of work? Are they horrifying?
They're exactly like all of the other rooms that people go to the bathroom in, except they don't have urinals.
Okay.
And I say that knowing what the other bathrooms on campus look like.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been in a lot of them because we are a gender-free situation.
Okay. All right. Ben, what about you? What's is your office men's room like a horror show?
It's only a horror show in that people seem to think it's okay to do work phone calls.
Awesome.
Oh God.
Yeah, not like in like cleanliness. So just in like, I'm trying to get some business done. I don't want to hear about your sales deal.
Yeah. And what about the person on the other end of that line?
They
Just
can
listening
hear
to you pee?
Ben pooping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a little commission for you.
Kerplunk. My office, it's a new office. It's a new space. The bathroom is very clean, but there's a monster in my office that just like when it poops, and I say it because it's not human. It just leaves like a mountain of toilet paper in the toilet. And they cover the bowl in their feces, and there's like boogers all over the walls near the urinal. Like, I don't understand. Like, I work with animals. It's disgusting. And like today, I went to go use the bathroom, and there's 3 stalls. There's 2 urinals and then 3 stalls. I opened up one stall. It was just overflowing with toilet paper. Mm-hmm. And not like, oh, the toilet clogged and it's like the toilet paper's to the surface of the bowl. Like, it was just like stuffed with toilet paper. Who is wiping their ass like that? And then the other toilet was just covered in poop. And then the other one just had like dry pee, like yellow dots all over the seat.
Oh, I hate
Just
that.
lift up the seat or use the urinal. Oh my God.
Or
it's
if you
disgusting.
realize that you've dribbled on the seat, wipe that shit up.
Yeah.
It doesn't take effort.
Yeah.
So then I had to leave the office. I'm 8 floors up. I leave the office and I went to a local coffee shop and just tore it up in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you left the seat covered in pee and poo, and you filled it up with toilet paper. You forgot that you were the person who did that.
I'm the monster. But it's just disgusting. Like I don't work with children or like farm animals. It's like, stop flicking your boogers all over the walls.
Later that year, Dave discovered that one of his colleagues was actually a cleverly disguised cow
Who could flick boogers?
and leave toilet paper places.
What if a cow could reach its nose?
They can scratch like a dog with their back foot.
It was a child dressed up like a cow, dressed up like a blue collar worker
Yes.
or a white collar worker.
It's too many layers for me.
Yeah.
So
Postmodern.
you're talking about the disgusting toilet.
Yeah.
We had someone on my floor at work using the ladies' room and not flushing. And it was gross what they were leaving behind. It was
like wedges of cheese.
to paint a picture,
Full
my
taco.
very straight-laced, non-joke making colleague came over to me and said, "I don't mean to speak out of turn, but I need to check with you about something."
I just flew in and boy, are my arms tired.
It was her first joke ever.
I said, what do you need to ask me? Because there was just a level of seriousness involved. And she
Why
went,
did the chicken cross the road?
Knock,
went-
knock.
"Do you know who's been defecating and not flushing? Because they need to see a doctor.
Oh.
This is serious." And I was like, oh my God. Number 1, you're right. And number 2, no, I have no idea which person it is that's doing that to the toilet.
You just get a shout out. Who had chili last night? Hey.
For weeks that went on.
Mm-hmm.
We still haven't identified the culprit, but
Anyway.
it's still happening and it's still gross.
I thought that story was appropriate given its, Schlocktoonbrr. And there's
Yes.
there's a fucking monster on the loose.
So Schlocktoonbrr continues.
Gore?
In a very poop-centric way.
Mhm.
And Halloween for children means a lot of things. Ghouls and candy and such. But I don't know that we've talked a lot about like Halloween costumes, right? Were you guys big trick or treat heads?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Maybe too late into my life.
35.
Yeah, still doing it.
I've won 2 different costume contests with 2 different
Well,
costumes.
this is what I was going to get into. I mean, what was like your top Halloween costume as a kid?
Yeah, what'd you win the contest with, Shaylin?
So the first contest I won was with my doggy suit that my mom made. Yeah, I was just dressed as a puppy, and it was she was just really good at sewing. So it was just a really good suit from an old faux fur coat that she had.
Murderer.
Faux fur. It
Murderer.
was cotton.
Murderer.
You killed a fake animal.
I didn't. My mother did. My favorite costume I ever wore was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that we made out of foam, rubber, and fabric, and neglected to realize the length of it. So I couldn't bend my knees to go up and down stairs. So it was just a really funny Halloween. And the one that I won the contest, the other one I won the contest, I was a bag of groceries. And again,
Like
it was
like a movie bag of groceries. Like there was a carrot and a baguette sticking out.
There was, so it was like a box that went down to just above my knees, and we glued paper bags around it and cut a hole for my face. No, my head was stuck out the top. So my head was in the bag of groceries.
So you were the baguette in this situation.
I was the baguette.
Okay.
And my mom cut like a container of milk in half, like top to bottom. So she glued it down to make it look like it was halfway sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember very distinctly, there was like a thing of frosting involved that she glued down to, which was weird. But
it's disgusting.
I was in the newspaper. I got a gift certificate for ice cream.
Washington Post.
The reporter.
Okay.
How about you, Ben?
Halloween was always a big deal. My mom, bless her, very crafty. So like I always had cool costumes, but there was always a twist to it. So like when I was 5, I was Tim Burton Batman, and I had like the utility belt and the cowl and stuff, and I was hot shit. But my mom also enjoys things that sparkle. So like the Batman logo is just covered in sequins. And that was a theme that continued on. So like one year I was Batman, and I'm pretty sure there was like I'm sorry, I was Spider-Man, and there was like a sequin spider. But I mean, we had variations too. Like my mom also for a period of time enjoyed the Home Shopping Network and QVC. So one Halloween I ended up with a Herman Munster mask, and I wasn't Frankenstein's monster. I was Herman Munster. That was very clear. But like
specific.
When you're
clear to you, like that was her edict or yours? Like,
I don't think I had seen an episode of the Munsters in my life.
Oh, okay.
I don't actually still know that I have. Anyway, but what you don't realize about those full head masks, or at least when you're 9 or whatever, those things are fucking hot.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And like they burn on your head. It's like wearing a goddamn gas mask.
Yep.
But
it's just like pouring sweat, and it like drips into your eyes, and you can't see out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was good stuff.
My favorite costume was, my mom was not crafty, so she bought a Ninja Turtles costume. I was Raphael, and it was awesome. Like the mask looked just like I wanted it, but the suit, like the pants, like they were green pants, they were like this like vinyl material, really, really thin, kind of fragile. So by the end of we must have trick-or-treated for like an hour and a half, just like walking up and down the street of our neighborhood. We went around like several blocks. But by the time I was done, the pants, they were a little long on me. They had just ripped, and like like the threads had pulled, and like they were just, my costume was just torn to threads by the time I got home. Very, very disappointing because I couldn't wear it again. But yeah, another time I was a dead army man. My mom tried to do the, did you ever get like the fake like makeup that made it look like he had wounds and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, my mom was awful at that as well. So it just looked like I had like a vagina on my cheek.
Nothing wrong with that.
Good old vagina cheek.
Yeah, that was my costume. Dead army vagina.
I was going to ask if your turtle costume was anatomically correct, and then I Googled turtle dick, and oh man, turtle penises are weird, man.
Weird.
So yeah, it was.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. You got to show off. You know what I'm saying?
When did you wear Halloween costumes up to? Like when was the year or the age you stopped wearing costumes or trick-or-treating?
For what purpose, right? Because I've worn costumes, I don't know, in the last couple of years, but just not for trick-or-treating. But
like for me, I didn't want to, but like socially, I guess I had to stop. No one would trick-or-treat with me. It was like 8th grade, so I was like 14 or so.
Yeah, that sounds about
13,
right.
14?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I went trick-or-treating my senior year of high school, dressed as a Canadian. I wore a parka.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
And
I just kept saying,
that sounds like a high school student.
Yeah.
And then my first year of college, I went to see a movie, and on the way I realized we had no snacks. So we went through the trunk of the car we were in and found like some safety gear and trick-or-treated. And when people said, "What are you?" we said, "Oh, we're the safety brigade." And people gave us candy. And then we brought the candy into the movie theater and watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre eating trick-or-treat candy.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting, Shaylin.
So I was in my 20s.
That you said that you're on the safety brigade.
Yeah.
Because you have some tendencies to put yourself above the law. You know, you're judge, jury, and executioner. And
you are the law.
Well, apparently. But let's recap. You gotta look back to look forward.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
When you're planting your tomatoes, is that for your victory garden?
No, he was a pervert.
Who? What?
Who was a pervert?
The Victory Garden guy. The TV show Victory Garden on WGBH.
That's not true, is it really?
I used to watch Victory Garden on Saturdays at my Nana's condo. And then one day it wasn't on. Then it was on the news that he had been arrested.
So Frugal Gourmet was a pervert.
Oh, wait, am I confusing them? Maybe Victory Garden was on immediately after Frugal Gourmet.
We're going to get sued.
Yan Can Cook was cool, though.
I thought that he was a pervert, too.
No. Yan could cook.
Sure, I wasn't
Yan
doubting
could
his
cook and not do weird shit with it. Yan can keep his hands off people.
Yan can't fondle. But Frugal Gourmet was...
It was
a piece of
Frugal
shit.
Gourmet. Yeah, you're right. I conflated them. I apologize, Victory Garden guy.
I want you to start a website called mistakenperverts.com.
He wasn't a pervert, as it turns out.
This is my victory garden.
Okay, case closed.
And I'm sorry, Victory Garden guy.
You walking around Victory Garden like Christopher Maloney, just slamming the host against the wall. You touched little girls, didn't you? You psycho.
Do you have any other accusations you'd like to make before we proceed?
Not before we proceed, but I might have more later. We'll
Okay.
see.
All right.
Time will tell.
So
Perhaps you have an accusation against the subject of
tonight's
our
show.
cartoon.
So in a WatchBots First, I was forbidden to reveal the name of this cartoon because I wanted to spare our listeners the pain that we had to endure. And this week's show is the very strange, very horrifying Life with Louie. And boy, I don't know. I don't even know where to start with this. I mean,
I'll start.
Go for
What gives you the right?
Mm-hmm.
How dare you?
Get him, Shaylin.
I had to look
Hashtag not yet forgiven for this.
into the deepest recesses of my soul, right? Because when we put this month together, we needed to look at the weirdest, right? We needed to look at the creepiest. And this is a cartoon that, like, I'm not joking around. Like, this freaked me the fuck out as a child. It's Louis Anderson, who, all right, who is playing himself as a child. He's playing his dad. It's kind of like the Wonder Years, more like the Blunder Years, but like it's just so uncomfortable and strange.
I don't think it's going for Wonder Years. Christmas
like
Story.
a Christmas Story vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Christmas Story, more like Pissmas Story. It's
Nice.
it's not even, as we'll get into, like the subject matter of the show. It's just how it's put together, and the production is so uncomfortable. And I would say, like, I was happy that when we went back and watched it this week that everything had remained as I remembered, but it gave me the heebie-jeebies just as bad as it did 20 years ago.
When you think about things that trigger you, right, make you super uncomfortable, give you anxiety, I realized that on my list of personal anxiety triggers, it's Louis Anderson himself.
Him personally.
His voice and how he looks. I am convinced that at any moment it will be his last breath and he is about to die. And as soon as I started watching this episode, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I had to turn it off midway to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Even knowing that the episode eventually would end and he probably wasn't about to die. It was still too much for me.
He's alive to this day, still kicking.
Yeah. I think I know why this show gives you anxiety, Van, why it triggers you.
Okay.
It's got needles in it. You hate those.
Sure.
At some point, Louis's head looks like a tomato, and you hate those. And the very first scene starts off with, just a close-up of Louis Anderson's face. So,
I've got a lot of thoughts on that scene, but...
not exactly immediately on his face, but we'll get to that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, it's... The show... I can articulate it better as we go, but I think I can boil it down to a couple of things. The character design for young Louis, it's like if you took Louis Anderson, the actor-comedian, world famous, and you hit him with Wayne Szalinski's Shrinking Ray. So like he looks like himself as an adult. He's just tiny. Like he's like a small man, and his voice, as we'll hear in a second here, is deeper than it is as an adult. Yeah. And then his dad, who is also him, is his voice, and they're talking to each other, and it's just like, oh man, it's just like I'm like galaxy brained watching this show. It's fucking nuts.
He won an Emmy.
He won two Emmys.
He won a primetime Emmy for this.
He did. Yeah. He won 2 Emmys in 97 and 98. He beat out Lily Tomlin twice, Rob Paulson twice. I know Shaylin's heartbroken.
I am.
Rob Paulson. Robin Williams, Dennis Franz, but Paulson got him in 99. Don't worry.
Good job.
Wait, who? What was Robin Williams?
The genie in one of the Aladdin things.
He beat out the genie for this piece of shit.
That's right.
Travesty of justice.
You might be surprised. This is the rare show where there's not a lot out there about the development of it. So you could guess Louis Anderson, one of the co-creators. The other co-creator is a guy named Matthew O'Callaghan, a good Irish boy.
Hoity-toity-toity.
Oh, boy.
It's true.
That's problematic. What's wrong with you?
Jeez. Now I know what it's like to be on the other side of that.
Man, yikes. Hashtag canceled. So O'Callaghan.
Can we edit that out? Actually, no. We're not going to edit it.
No.
We're going to amplify it.
I'm going to play like limerick music under this.
Yeah.
Please don't.
The score to Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
So O'Callaghan, known for a lot of animation work, but really weirdly, he's also the director of the 2006 Curious George movie that Will Ferrell was in.
That was animated.
Wasn't he live in that?
No.
He wasn't?
Animated.
Why am I seeing Will Ferrell in a big yellow hat? Is that just another bit? Is that one of his Saturday Night Live characters?
Yeah, that was a cartoon.
Huh.
For sure.
Oh, well, I guess it's not that weird. All right. Well, thanks for taking the steam out of my sails.
You're welcome.
The show, though, a modest hit. 3 seasons, 39 episodes. Kind of big in America. Huge in Eastern Europe and Russia.
What?
Really?
Yeah. Because a lot of the big cartoon stations like the Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon were not available there. And this was seen as wholesome and family friendly, and it was available. So
they thought this was wholesome.
It was wholesome.
It's also drab.
Just horrifying. Yeah.
This is perfect.
But this does have one of my favorite things where like...
I like that we're not calling Dave out for his accent.
No, only you.
Well, people hate Russians, so.
Oh my God. Well, somebody's coming out clean, and you better believe it's me. So it's never been released on DVD, but it pops up from time to time. And would you like to know why the show still pops up from time to time about DVD releases and reboots?
Why?
Louis Anderson won't stop talking about it. There was... I looked up Life with Louie on Google, and one of the first things that popped up was reboot. And I thought, how the fuck could that even be possible? And I looked, and the only reason it was possible because Louis Anderson gave an interview through like a webcam where he was talking about it. So there's not a big audience for it, but the Lou Meister just won't let it die. You know, I think that's admirable. You got to get yours. You got to get that cheddar.
He apparently is like killing it in the show called Baskets with Zach Galifianakis.
That's what I've heard. I've never seen it.
Yeah, he was nominated for an Emmy for that too. I'm not sure if he won. But yeah, apparently he's very good in it. So like, he's what is he, like 60 something? Like he's just hitting his stride now.
I mean, he's had a 35-year career. I mean, maybe longer at this point. Are you familiar with his stand-up work at all?
I watched a little of it last week. Yeah,
Me too. That's about the extent of it.
What'd you think of it?
It's the safest 80s ass comedy I've ever seen in my life. You know, like,
yeah, very, very Midwestern.
Yeah, I mean, being a stand-up comedian in the 80s must have been the dream, right? Because media outlets were more limited, so you can go out there and you could just give this very safe, bland comedy about being a fat kid, and people would eat it up. Now, like, there's 3,000 comedians doing that exact same bit. Like,
Right.
it's so much harder to carve out that niche.
Yeah.
I mean, good on him. Outside of his weird voice, freaking me out. Probably because he's from the Midwest, eh? That's my accent. Now we're all canceled. So the episode we
That's
watched.
racist against Midwesterners.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think that's how
right.
that works.
Sure it is.
Yeah,
I
more or
think
less.
Ben's still much more squeaky clean than either of us.
Well,
Do I feel bad? Yes.
that's life, baby.
Yes, I do.
That's life.
I don't feel bad. Hashtag no regrets.
Or hashtag no regrets to steal from a Snickers commercial, because that's as far as I am today. So the episode we watched was in season 1. It's pains, grains, and allergy shots. And the two writers, Alex Taub, who is credited with the story, has written on such shows as Chasing Amy, the CBS Judge Show, and the new Lethal Weapon. So
Well, all right.
still active.
Wow.
And the actual screenplay, Bernie Anchetta, who has written on shows like City Guys and Zeke and Luther. I had never heard of any other show that he had written on.
I don't think I've even heard of Zeke and Luther.
Right. That's what I had said too.
Oh, I
Is that
thought you
one
meant you had
show,
heard of
or is
those
it
two
Zeke
things,
and
but
then
there
the
were
show
other
Luther?
shows.
Zeke and Luther is one show.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So this one aired just outside October, which would have been an interesting criteria, but November 11th, 1995. Let's find out what was going on in context. Ooh, what were we seeing? It's contextual feeling. An amazing week in media. The number one movie in America, Ace Ventura 2, When Nature Calls.
Huh.
Yes.
I only remember the guano joke. I can't remember one other thing about that movie.
Do you remember he was in like there was like a big fancy party, and there was a guy with a monocle and a big mustache, and he just went, "It's the Monopoly guy," and then they just kind of moved on to the next joke. That's the only one I remember.
Nope, don't remember that at all.
Yeah,
I think, wasn't he nominated or in the category of Best Kiss on the MTV Movie Awards for in the guano scene, or the scene after the guano scene where he just like stuck his tongue out and touched like the tip of his tongue to the girl's tongue?
Well, yes.
I don't remember it in the movie, but I remember it being in the MTV Movie Awards and
Okay.
people at my school thinking it was hilarious.
Or like, fuck it, it's so hot.
No, we were in like 4th grade. I don't think anyone was thinking that.
Well, I was in 4th grade, but I'm mature and not canceled. Number 2, Get Shorty. Number 3, Copycat, which is a bizarre movie. That's a weird one.
yes.
Who's in that one?
So that's Harry
I will
Connick
tell you.
Jr. Go ahead, Dave. I will defer to you on this.
It is Sigourney Weaver and Harry Connick Jr., who was hot off of his Christmas album. So like they were like, he later went on to, he was in Independence Day after that. He was in
Hope Floats.
Hope Floats.
Hope Floats.
Yes. Hope Floats. He was the leading romantic lead in Hope Floats. But he was, he had a Christmas album. I think he had done a couple movies before that, but like somehow, some weird area of Hollywood, they were like, we have this serial killer movie with Sigourney Weaver. Who are we going to get to play the smooth, sexy serial killer? let's get Harry Connick Jr.
Spoiler alert.
No, it's pretty
Oh
clear
yeah,
the whole
sorry.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
You just know. You look at him and you're like, he's a dirty bastard. Well, I want to smooch him and arrest him.
It is one of my, even as a kid, when I saw that, it was like it's to this day one of my favorite miscast roles. I absolutely love it. I never saw the movie. I didn't need to. It's just the idea that Harry Connick Jr. is a serial killer is fantastic.
All right.
Shame on you for not knowing that, Shailen.
Jimmy, no! Jimmy, no! He's good at Independence Day.
It's true.
Top
What's
show-
your favorite Harry Connick Jr. movie, Ben?
Hope Floats.
Yeah,
no
same
questions
here.
asked.
Mine would be Little Man Tate.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Shailen?
Shailen, yours?
I think I've only seen Independence Day with him in it.
It's a fair answer. It's legitimate.
I mean, I remember seeing the like at home movie of him when he was like 13 playing the piano and going nuts, but that's from like my rock and roll days.
What?
What's your favorite Harry Connick Jr. Christmas song?
I don't know who to answer first.
What's your favorite Bob Dylan Christmas song?
Must be Santa.
That's right. That's the only answer.
Beer that's what. Special night.
Yeah, that's what.
Yes, what?
That's for December. We'll get back to a Bob Dylan Christmas.
Thank you, Bob Dylan.
All right. So let's get into this. Dave, you mentioned we open up on Louie Anderson just hacking and coughing. And
I did, yes.
specifically, the first shot that we see is his hand going toward a box of tissues while he hacks and moans.
No. It's a box of tissues. His hand is going toward it. But then it's surrounded by the very pleasant and kid-friendly image of a stack of used tissues.
Yeah.
So gross. Like, what is Louis doing with those tissues?
Well, and the noise before it pans over doesn't help.
Does not help.
Come on. Come on.
That's how all my orgasms sound.
Just hacking and coughing. Well, you know, we are entering the 6th season. So
I'm done.
it's worth noting that season 1 of Life with Louie had him in these, you know, little bits. Season 2 and
Little
3.
Seinfeld openings.
Yeah, kind of. Season 2 and 3 had a song. So we didn't hear it for this episode, but would you like to hear the Life with Louie song?
Sure would.
Yes, please.
Let me tell you about my family.
Hey, here we go now, it's that time again. Let's take a look and see what's happening. Roller coaster ride, but no surprise. It's Life with Louie, Louie, Louie. Life with Louie, Louie, Louie. It's life with likable, lovable, completely huggable. It's Life with Louie.
I'm just saying, if this episode had started with that kick-ass song rather than this weird comedy bit, I might have liked it a little better.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a good sitcom song.
any
Cuddable, huggable.
That's a little creepy. Fair.
any subtraction of Louis Anderson from my life is an improvement.
I am going to be so excited when you accuse this man of being a pervert.
I'm not going to do that because I
It's
don't
coming.
think that's
It's
true.
coming. This is like the first of 5 statements, and it's just going to build up, and then boom, there's the allegation.
That's not happening.
We're building to it. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll progress as we go.
Don't project onto me.
#mistakenperverts.com. So Louis, so he's doing this bit and he's in like old fashioned striped pajamas. He's covered in a blanket. The camera,
Got the old-fashioned thermometer.
yeah.
coming out of his mouth.
And the camera is very slowly like panning in and out on him. And all the meanwhile, he's doing what could loosely be termed as comedy.
Hey, you look great. Doesn't he look great? He looks great. Not really. Then they say something that really is silly. Yeah, the doctor says I think I'm going to get out of here pretty soon.
Nothing could make me want to watch a cartoon more than seeing a grown man whine on TV.
Yeah. As a kid, like, again, we come back to this, like, who is the stand-up bit for? Like,
Yeah.
if I'm a 10-year-old watching this, and I was, like, I'm not getting this. Like, I haven't been to enough hospitals as a 10-year-old to understand this joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. On top of all that, there's the bad joke.
As somebody who knows a few things about hack comedy, these are just the easiest jokes ever too, right? Like hospitals stink. Do you like Jello at the hospital? Meh, it's just like, oh man, I don't know. You're a professional. Have some pride in your work, for Christ's sake.
I was reading up on Louis Anderson's Wikipedia page, and there was a category. It was like comedy style or something like that. And there's a quote by
Did you say terrible?
Yeah,
man.
just one word. Ooh, keep it down, Shailen.
Oof.
It's too hot. Dennis Miller is quoted as like saying like Louis Anderson is one of the most like deft, quick-witted comics out there. I'm not going to deny.
I was actually don't deny
Miller.
that.
Yeah, I don't deny it, but like it's just strange, like that someone chose to quote Dennis Miller of all people. Like I don't know. I'm assuming Louis Anderson put that in there. I don't know.
Maybe it was Dennis Miller.
Possible.
Oh, could be. It's just editing Wikipedia pages about his friends.
Could be. If you guys had Wikipedia pages, I would be in there editing them all the time. All the time.
It's like if you were in the second floor bathroom at Studio 54 and Lauren walked in, baby. I don't know. That's not a good Dennis Miller either. I don't know.
Wasn't your best. You've done better Dennis Miller impressions.
You do one.
No.
Yeah.
The year was 1836. I'm
What?
just kidding. I was doing the wrong one.
Good Lord. Anyway, let's move on.
Dennis Miller was an old-timey narrator.
Yeah.
Yes.
4 and 7 years ago, we went to the cartoon and we met little Louie.
Hey, what is it? I'll put that back. Here, Dad, save that for you.
Fuck. Oh my God. I hate it so much. Like, it's so odd. I'm going to posit something. It's possible I've overthought this. What if you switch the voices of Louie and the dad so that Louie is playing himself and he could still do the dad's voice, but that's like the weird, deeper voice one? Would that change anything?
Nope.
No, you don't think so?
Wouldn't
Dave?
change anything for me.
It might make the dad sound better, but
Yeah.
I don't think it changes Louis. If you swap the voices.
Like,
Yeah, because then the 8-year-old just sounds like this.
it has the same effect.
yeah, it's like if I was doing a cartoon about my life and like I was playing myself as a kid and I went in doing my Wolfman Jack. Oh, and I'm just talking like this. But then when I'm playing my father, I'm just playing myself. Like, it's just such an odd way to go about it.
Yeah.
And Louis, like I said, he's got his famous tooth gap. It just looks like they put him in a laundry press, and there he is. He's wearing. Oh man, it's so uncomfortable.
The mumbling reminded me of Mr. Magoo, but I didn't have like the same charm for me.
Yeah.
Like with Mr. Magoo, it was like, oh, like he's kind of lonely and like is doing his best in this world, and in this, it was like,
he's hapless and like that matches. Yeah.
But here it's like a relatively savvy kid who's kind of like figuring it out, and for some reason also is Mr. Magoo.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you're also, it's like the first time you meet Lil Louie,
Yeah.
right? And so like all you hear is, hey, what's going on? Okay, Dad.
It really is like he's like a 20s gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's like these like the rotten milk is just like plopping down. So it just sounds like they recorded Louis Anderson in the toilet. It's so gross.
I'm not going to interrupt their process.
You go from
Louis Anderson's the monster at my office.
you go from Louis Anderson in live action complaining to little Louis complaining, and then the fridge breaks and you meet Dad, and boy is Dad a fucking strange character.
When I was riding with General MacArthur and the fridge went out in the tank, you think we went out and bought a new fridge? Get a grip, honey.
So the dad, as far as I can tell, I believe he was in the military. I'm not entirely clear. It only came up 60 or 70 times. He is a bullshitter, and he's very much an asshole, maybe with a heart of gold. Have I characterized Dad?
I think so.
Yeah.
He tells some
Yeah.
weird goddamn stories, though.
Yes, he does.
I think I didn't do any research into this. This is just pure speculation. Like, I think, like, is the joke that the dad wasn't in the army? Like, he's just constantly talking about it?
He's a draft dodger?
Yeah.
Okay, that actually improves the cartoon dramatically for me. That's a good theory.
I hadn't
It's
thought
like
of.
because you said he, and I agree. Like, he brings it up like 60,000 times.
Yeah.
Like maybe dad just doth protest too much.
Maybe. I think that's an interesting angle. I will say we have some more clips of Dad's war stories, so maybe we can try to poke some holes in his narrative.
Okay. All right.
All right. We'll proceed that way. So the fridge is broken. And so they have to go out to eat at a restaurant. People are excited.
We'll eat out tonight.
A lot of talk about eating out. So they go to
Oh, God.
Gross.
Tom, Shaylin.
Gross.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
No.
Shaylin, keep it
down.
keep it together, okay?
They go to Dumb Luck Chinese food,
Ugh.
and that isn't even like
God.
the eighth most sad thing about this scene. So it starts off with Dad telling a story about being tortured.
I was brutally tortured with chopsticks for months. Bowls of rice, not a fork in sight, almost starved.
It ends better than it starts, but it's like, oh my God, he was tortured. Who's this appealing to? Anyway,
Kids love their
Children.
you know, grandpa screaming about World War II torture.
Kids also love things like cultural sensitivity.
Listen, also give me some of this moo goo gaga geeky, whatever it is in the bowl.
That would be number 2.
Mugu Kai Pan.
Wait a minute. $3.50 for cashew chicken. What are you gonna do? Spoon feed us?
He's charming. And I get, my understanding is that this is set in the 50s or the 60s, maybe.
Well,
which is
whenever
why he's
Louis
so,
Anderson was 8. Yeah.
Yeah, so the 50s or the 60s, I guess. Well, it doesn't, I don't know. It's just, the scene's very long. And Dad's also a cheap ass, so he isn't going to tip the waiter. And he's just talking, and it looks like there are several points where the whole restaurant just turns and stares at Dad for his odd behavior. And then the waiter wants to assault him for not tipping. So it's
good.
It's a good characterization of Dad as a good person.
So, like, I thought, like, you know, Dumb Luck comes on the screen. It's like, I just, like, put my hand on my head. I was like, fuck, for fuck's sake. And then, like, then they have, like, the show is sort of mocking the racist dad character. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then you have, like, shit like Dumb Luck. Like, I couldn't tell, like, what was this trying to say, right? Like, were the writers, like, saying, like, hey, this is what the dad is saying is stupid and inane, but we also named the restaurant Dumb Luck with a cheap pun. Like, it wasn't a well-structured joke.
Yeah, I had a similar thought. And a lot of it was around the dad character, because there's so much about him being a veteran and it influencing him that I was like, I wonder what the message this is trying to send. And then about halfway through the episode, I had a stunning realization. And it's that there isn't a situation, in this episode anyway, where they don't take the lowest common denominator way out. It's just like, here's the first draft, slap it down, get Louie in the booth, and let's get this shit on the air.
Yeah, it's we need a Chinese restaurant. Dumb Luck. All right, write it down. All right,
it's gold.
Louis,
Jerry.
say this. Yeah,
Maybe there was actually a
Gold.
restaurant named that he went to in his childhood.
Could be.
Ripped from the headlines.
Maybe it's like
be.
it's like the non-union equivalent kind of thing. So they couldn't license the real restaurant in Minnesota or Wisconsin or whatever.
Could be.
But to Shailen's and mine point, this is very much like a Christmas story. You know, it's this Midwestern family in this Chinese restaurant, like just at least one of them in this
Being
is,
culturally
unaware.
insensitive.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so they go to dinner. It takes a long time. The next morning, Louis wakes up for school, and there's something really fucking wrong. One of the lines of the episode.
Oh, my head. I'm a tomato.
You're a tomato.
Tomato. Let's call the whole thing off.
Hold on. I got to do this again.
Oh, my head. I'm a tomato.
Louie, you want to take that one more time? No.
No, I'm good. All right, let's go.
So they're all standing in his room, and Louie's head is grotesque. It does look like a tomato. He's not fibbing.
It looks like it just looks like a prolapsed anus. It just looks like a taut ball sack. It's so disturbing looking.
It's truly grotesque. I guess if you want to put it in a different way, when his head is this blown up, it's probably about the size of what his adult head is on this small man's body.
Yes.
Huh.
Shaylin, thoughts?
I don't like it.
Okay. So
I'm a tomato.
It's not often in the episode that I found myself agreeing with Dad, but he had a sentiment that I did enjoy here.
Right. Got red and swollen all by itself, huh?
That's what I ask myself every morning. You know what I'm saying? So Louie convinced...
And a little morning one at a time. Happens all the time.
Tomato. So he convinces his parents he's okay to go
Happened
to
in the
school.
Pacific Theater more often than not.
Oh, we took to Hiroshima. Swollen like the A-bomb. I don't know what accent I'm going for anymore.
I
It
don't
doesn't
know.
matter.
Plant the
Wolfman
flag
Jack
of
here.
Jima.
D-Day. So he goes to school.
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor. And the kids at school, not sensitive, especially back then, right? You know, today's a little kinder and gentler. In Louis, he gets some zingers thrown his way. They're vicious.
Okay, class, if this is Central America, who can point to the Arctic Circle? Craig, Eric?
Do I have to use the globe or can I just use Louie's head?
Very funny, Craig.
He also gets compared to a beach ball, a melon. Nobody calls him a tomato. I guess that was the self-inflicted wound. Did you guys see this? So they're in the schoolyard, and one of his bullies comes up, and it looks like
Yes.
this kid is trying to literally rip his head off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you said, all right. I saw something else. He like wraps his legs around Louie's neck.
Yeah, that was insane too.
And it just looks like he's trying to hump Louie's head. It is so strangely animated.
There's a huge jump to it too, because he pulls Louie out from under the table, and like he looks like he's going to do like the Jason Voorhees neck snap on this poor kid, and then it cuts, and like he has him. If listeners are familiar with mixed martial arts at all, it looks like he has him in like a triangle chokehold. It's so wild.
He's a tomato.
Yeah.
I'm a tomato.
It's just insane. So Louis is saved by his best friend Jeannie Harper, who he has a crush on. This is established in the show, and they're talking. And she tries to convince him to go to the nurse, and then he looks in a puddle, and his head goes back to normal. And when I watched the episode, I missed this. Like I was taking a note, I was writing something, and I looked down, and he was a tomato, or a tomato, and I looked up, and he was normal again. And I was like, "What did I miss?" And as it turned out, nothing. His head just deflated on its own.
Yep.
What I thought was happening was, you know, he liked her, and her words to him were soothing. And he looked in the puddle, and like he imagined himself feeling better, and thus looking better. But it really didn't happen. But no, he just was no longer a tomato.
Yeah, he was just fine. That's how how allergies work, I guess.
Yeah, they just magically disappear with the Wayne's World, like woo.
Yeah. When looking in puddles. It's a strange thing. So we get to the next day, and Dad is under the fridge. He's working on the fridge. It's up on cinder blocks, and he's taken all the pieces out, and we get a little of this.
I thought you were working on the fridge.
Well, I'm also working on this grinder here.
Because you see, Dad, classic aggrieved dad, he's got a big old fucking Dagwood sandwich under that fridge. So he's lying on his back on like one of those wheelie mechanic things, and he's stuffing his face and eating a sandwich.
Because that's what dads do, right? Like they lie about what the chore that they're helping with in order to eat large sandwiches.
I guess I do that a lot.
I do that a ton.
Yeah.
I wasn't serious, by the way.
I go out to the garage and you come out and you're like, "What do you got your girly mags out here?" And I go, "Nope, just a big old ham sandwich." And I throw it at you.
Huh. Your memory of those things are different than mine.
While you accuse me of being a pervert.
I
I
mean,
go outside and I tell my wife I'm going to mow the lawn, and I just sort of rig it to run while I just sit next to it eating a nice PBJ.
you do the chain and you stake it to the ground and it just mows in a circle.
Yeah, exactly. And my wife is none the wiser.
That's how they did crop circles too, right? They just chained a lawnmower down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crop circles were just lazy dads trying to eat giant sandwiches.
Dad's got to eat. You know, so they're hanging out in the kitchen where they spend about half the episode. And if you think that Louie Anderson's above sneaking in a little referential humor, you're wrong.
Here's a little tweaking, that's all. A couple of screws loose on the top shelf.
That's for sure.
Everyone's a comedian. Listen, pal, you need better writers.
You got it?
Because he is one
He's
of
a
the
comedian.
writers, and he's a comedian.
Yeah.
Little meta there. Yeah, I
Oh
like
boy.
it.
So the mom has bought 8 pizzas for this family. And I guess I should have looked up the history of pizza delivery. This was a little anachronistic for me because the pizza kid shows up.
Uh-huh.
He's got an earring. Like he's so flip and he's so hip. He's got his weird conductor hat and his fucking dishwashing gloves on.
Now that you say that,
It's strange.
it's like they brought the pizza delivery man from the 90s into the show that's taking place during Louis Anderson's childhood.
And on top of that, there's a very odd line of dialogue around the pizza.
Somebody with a coupon order pizzas? Yeah.
So the pizza guy comes to the door. They open it. Somebody with a coupon order pizzas? What? What the fuck?
I'm the one with the coupon. Move aside, folks.
I'm the one with the coupon. I order the pizza.
I mean, one theory is that they live in a house with many other families that you just haven't seen in this episode.
So not entirely off the mark because this show, the parents have 10 kids.
Yeah.
You only see Louis and his younger brother, and you see some of the others in like Muppet Babies nanny kind of form. But there are a lot of people in this house. So
That's true.
It doesn't make what the pizza guy said any less bizarre.
That's also
Well, it's
true.
like all 12 people in the family were sitting there, and the guy's like, who's the one with the coupon? And then Louis stood up. He's like, I'm the one with the coupon. And then the mother stood up. She's like, I'm the one with the coupon. It was a beautiful moment.
So they eat pizza. Louis wakes up the next morning, and now he has another problem. His hands are blown up. It looks like he's wearing like baseball gloves or like he's put a rubber glove on his hand and blown it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's my rosy palms.
Palms are hairy, more like. Mom says something strange here, mildly inappropriate.
All right, I'm coming out there, but don't get mad at me.
Why? Do you have a big head again?
It's my hands.
Ooh, you know Uncle Leonard had big hands.
I don't know. Something felt very strange about that. So
You know what they say about big hands?
that's right. Hairy palms.
Lots of used tissues.
Ooh, get the jerkins.
Gross.
So have you ever put a condom on your head and blown it up with your nose?
No.
You never did that?
No.
Dave?
No, it hasn't come up in my life yet.
Just
So-
me then.
Howie Mandel used to do that.
No,
but
he did it with a glove. I'm talking about with a condom.
He blew out one of his sinuses with a condom, I think. I read maybe it's an urban legend, but that was like why he stopped blowing up the gloves because it hurt his sinuses.
Ben, do you ever blow anything with a condom?
I was getting to a story that I blew up a condom with
On
my
your
nose,
head.
but
Tell us more.
well, I can't because I have
No, I'm telling you that's the reason I never did
No,
it
that
because
was
Howie
it.
Mandel broke his face.
that was the reason you never did it.
Yes.
I was peer pressured on at least 7 different occasions.
No.
Well, if you know, listeners, if Howie Mandel blew out his sinuses, hashtag Shaylin was right or hashtag Shaylin was wrong. I can't commit one way or the other. So moving on.
But you blew up a condom on your head with your nose.
Yeah.
How did that come up?
What do you
Like,
mean?
how does one just decide, like, oh, I'm going to pull this condom over my head and blow it up with my
Was there an
nose?
audience?
Yeah, I was in college.
Uh-huh.
I can't believe you did that at a family Christmas party.
I think now I'm trying to remember the context. There were a lot
Please
of
find the context.
unlubricated condoms around. I want to say we took a bunch of them from like the school health center,
Uh-huh.
and we may or may not have been drinking. Maybe not actually. And the challenge came up to do it. And I, having no shame and no female significant other to embarrass myself in front of, said, fuck it, I'll do it. So we stretched that sumbitch down over my head. It was uncomfortable.
For sure.
I don't know that I would say it's more or less uncomfortable than wearing like a latex mask, though, because there was some give to the condom, because it's going to fit all shapes and sizes. Magnum condoms are BS, by the way. And so it fit around my head, and I blew it up, and pictures were taken. I'm sure those pictures no longer exist, but it was fine. I would do it again.
Did you have it, was it down over your eyes? Was there, extra pressure on your eyeballs?
What you have to ask is, how would I have blown it up if it wasn't down over my eyes? Then I would have just been wearing the condom, and that would be fucking ridiculous.
I hate the concept of this.
Oh, man.
It's freaking me out.
We can record a video this weekend.
I don't want to do that.
If anybody out there has pictures of Ben blowing a condom up on his head, just send it to us via Twitter. At WatchBotsPod.
I would pay to see that now.
Hashtag
So anyway.
Trojan Ben.
George Ben. So Louie's hands are fucked up. His mom brings up the idea of going to the doctor again. He has a dream sequence, and I'm just going to fly through it because it's the same sequence that happened when he went to school, except this time he's making up the zingers about himself. It's
yeah.
One kid's like, hey, you should be second base for our baseball game. And really he should have said you already got those catcher's mitts. He didn't do it. That's a punch up. But anyway, so they go to the doctor, and the doctor's office involves, there's a dude who's given a thumbs up. There's another dude with something in his foot. It's a strange environment.
It sort of reminded me, did you guys ever watch the show Northern Exposure?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know how everyone in town was always in the waiting room at the doctor's office?
No.
That's what it made me think of.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on Canadians?
No.
Not a single thought. They're all perverts.
Not a general thought, but...
They're all perverts. The whole country.
I don't think that's true.
Well, it's out there now. So
you don't think the whole country of Canada being perverts isn't true?
That's correct.
That's a bold statement.
So we go to the doctor's office, and I think it's fair to say that he's a sports fan. When I go to a doctor's office, which thankfully is not super often, it's pretty, there's lots of whites and off-whites, and there's pamphlets and stuff. There's not fucking baseball gloves and shit all over the place.
Team pennants.
It's very sports themed.
Yeah. And he's talking like he's a Sports Center anchor, he's a Dan Patrick out there. And this leads to a very strange bedside manner.
What do you think? Holy Lombardi! I'm thinking wide receiver in the Super Bowl. Look at the size of those mitts.
Jesus. What a bet 50 on that. But I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like the doctor, but they find that Louie has allergies just to grains.
Grains.
I guess science was a little less exact back then. It's not a gluten allergy. It's not a rice allergy or a wheat allergy or a rye allergy. It's just to grains. And so the solution to this is Louie is going to need a shot every week. So the doctor, in a very alarming manner, turns his back, fills a syringe with Ecto Cooler. It just turns around with this enormous goddamn syringe. This thing was horrifying.
That's true. It is horrifying.
Yeah. But if he injected Louie with it, he would have turned into a Ninja Turtle. Because that was clearly the ooze from that show.
I think that's quite possible. On the other hand, it could have turned him into the Toxic Avenger, because it has that waist look to it as well.
Or he could have.
That's true.
He could have just mutated into a tomato.
the likeliest scenario of all.
He turned into a killer tomato. There we go.
Oh, that would
full
together.
circle.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
That's a Harold. So we get a little more of the doctor's bedside manner here.
Time out, Weatherfield. This is the wrong serum. Man, that would have stung. I'm not going to have the right stuff till Thursday.
Excuse me, doctor.
So
what the fuck? Is that how doctors work back then?
That's how they work today. Every time I go to the doctor, he's like, I got bad news. You got gonorrhea. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And he goes, just playing. You only have herpes.
It's you got gonorrhea and I got to cut off your dick. Here we go. Oh, no, sorry, wrong thing. We got to go. We got a tea time.
And he says, give me the other kind of clap. And then I give him a round of applause. And it works out pretty well.
Well, y'all have made me uncomfortable. It's official. We're here.
Shailen, what's your opinion?
I'm uncomfortable.
What are you doing over there?
Me?
Yeah.
Hanging out. I'm keeping a list of information for our ratings later.
All right.
All right.
A lot of typing. So anyway, so we go home.
What are your notes? Can you read those?
Not right now.
That's a big league tease. So we go home. And
notes, more STD talk.
Our likable, our likable dad, who is maybe a fake veteran, a racist, lazy, an asshole. He adds litigious to his attributes.
Allergic to food? I knew it. I'm gonna sue them for all they got.
You mean the restaurant and the pizza joint?
No, your mother's side of the family. They're allergic to everything.
These two characters are so uncompelling. They are so whiny. I don't know how you're supposed to like root for them. Either of them.
I don't.
Like,
I don't root for them. They're terrible. It's terrible.
Louie does nothing. Louie does nothing. He's just this whiny tomato that like rolls around town. Tomato. Sorry. Like he just like rolls around and like complains, and like, I can't get over it. Like, how is this good TV? It's not. How is this on for 3 seasons?
Kids love it.
It makes me so mad.
People loved it.
It's like,
how do kids love this?
It's those Russian trolls, they're influencing the ratings like they influence the election.
I'm not doing the accent again. I'm not falling for that.
I had a friend in elementary school who routinely listed Life With Louie as his favorite cartoon.
Wit Louie?
Wit.
Huh.
He never said with. He said wit.
Was there an apostrophe?
No.
Huh.
He always said it that way.
Did he just find the show very witty?
I couldn't tell you.
Interesting.
Was it another show? Like maybe it was about Louis Armstrong or something?
No, because he would do impressions.
A documentary.
It was.
What does Louis Armstrong
sound like?
Yeah. It was terrible.
Can you do one?
No.
Should we all do a round of Louis Armstrong? That we can do that next. Louis.
Pennies from heaven.
Shailen, give me a Louis Anderson.
I'm just trying to channel my inner Roseanne because he's the male Roseanne, right? Like,
I just want to hear the impression.
Ah.
All right, it's a start.
Say I'm a tomato.
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 A tomato.
I'm a tomato.
So what were we talking about? Louis Anderson.
I don't know.
So
kids love Louis.
Yes, right, he's litigious. So Louis he's pouring his heart out to his dad, and he's like, "Man, I don't want to get stuck with needles, see?" And then the dad says something really fucking odd. I keep saying that odd, insane, weird, crazy.
I have to take an allergy
Cuckoo.
shot. I hate shots.
Scared of a little allergy shot? It's a silly little shot. I was shot 13 times in the war. 13 times in the back of my head. When I drank water, I could sprinkle my lawn. Don't tell me about a tiny poke of the needle.
Jesus Christ.
There's a lot to that.
There's a lot going on there. And I'll say, you know what? I got some calls of duty to answer, so I know a few things about shooting guys in the head. It's just it's a strange thing to tell your child. Like my dad was a veteran.
He's a veteran.
For God's sake, I don't recall him saying things like this. Maybe he did.
To be fair, I had known your dad for like 6 years before I got him to tell me like what part of the military he was even in. So he might have like a Purple Heart and we wouldn't even know because he wouldn't have told us.
Merchant Marines. So dad tries to pick up the refrigerator and he throws out his back. Just classic dad behavior. You're like, oh, my back. So they go to the hospital in an ambulance, which looks like a station wagon. It looks like Ecto 1. And they're wheeling dad through the hospital. And it looks like he's presenting. And the show is very aware of this while he's ass up. And we get this, which I did enjoy.
This is a disgrace, a war veteran in this position.
Just ass in the air. He's ready to go. So they're in the emergency room.
Just take me.
And they're going to give him a muscle relaxant. And what you find out, it's subtle here. Dad, for all his bravado, does not like needles either. But he looks at his son and his freaky little face, and he decides to put on a brave face. Talk a little shit.
You call that a needle? Looks like a thumbtack. I want an injection, I tell you. Not a tap on the shoulder. Give me a real needle. Give me the biggest one you got.
So they pull his pants down, and they jam the needle like right in his ass.
They do like an Austin Powers-esque like cover up of his butt.
Yeah. The doctor's holding up like a tongue depressor for each cheek, so you don't see anything.
Yeah, which is just like that's worse, right? Like just cut away, cut to like Louie's reaction or something. Don't like just cover up the butt because you're just making it worse. Like you make it like more sexual or something, and it's very sexual.
It's super sexual. You know what was weird? This has nothing.
Whole show.
This has nothing to do with this show. So in the Simpsons movie, Dave mentioned the Austin Powers thing. This triggered this. So Bart is riding around on his skateboard naked. I don't recall why, but they're doing that whole same bit where like there's a construction site, so there's like a cone covering up his dick, and they're going on for a while, and then he skates by, and you just see Bart Simpson's dick.
I don't remember that.
He's just
little
like
yellow nubbin.
Yeah, like his little dick and balls. Like that is fucking nuts. Like what the? Why?
I don't remember
He's 10
that
years
at
old.
all.
You don't remember that?
No.
I remember seeing it in the theater and people being like, "Oh fuck yeah, Bart's dick!" Like legitimately.
Really?
Did someone really say that?
Yes, several.
Was that you?
No, it was me going, "Oh, Bart's dick." But it's like
the last time you saw the movie. You saw a movie with your mother in the theaters.
It's like there was a fucking uproar in the theater about it. And now that I think about it, like that is bizarre. And
it's a little boy's penis.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't
Weird.
like it.
Speaking of Naked Simpsons, so my house, I'm in a 2-unit condo, and we have lovely neighbors. But one night, my wife was out, so I was watching the kids, and they had gone to bed. The house was empty. I'm up in the room, up in the office, which is on the second floor, and all the windows are open. It's a beautiful summer night. It's breeze coming in, and then I just hear this, all these like sex noises,
Hell yeah.
and I'm like, what is that? And like, I thought, like, I didn't know if like, I didn't know what it was, so I'm like trying to like find the source of the noise, and like, sure enough, it's outside. My neighbor was on the front stoop watching porn on his phone.
On the front stoop.
Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like 11 o'clock at night. On the front stoop, which faces a very busy street. And he had the volume way up. I mean, I could hear the porn that he was watching. So I kind of peeked out the window. It was like trying to make sure that everything was okay. And then I heard like that it wasn't just regular porn, it was Simpsons porn that he was watching. And I can never hear Marge Simpson again. Like it's just disturbing what the video made her do.
That is disturbing that it exists.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little odd that your neighbor was watching it outdoors with the volume up.
Yes.
It's extra weird that you Googled it and then bought it for Ben for Christmas the following year.
And then I sent him the picture I took of my neighbor masturbating on his front stoop.
Like you do.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Like you do.
Yeah.
So,
Merry Christmas, Ben.
you filthy animals. Marge Simpson also did Playboy, which was disappointing to all. There was some see-through shots, but I don't know, not the good stuff. So anyway, they stab Louie's dad in the ass with a needle. He wanders around and sings Kumbaya for a while. It's very odd. But they put him in the ambulance to bring him home. They convince the ambulance drivers to stop and buy a new refrigerator because like the ambulance drivers and the appliance store, I don't know, there's some kind of weird cabal going on where they're all...
That was a weird subplot. The Munsky brothers.
Yeah, they're all the same thing. That must play in other parts of the show. Here it was just strange.
It was weird.
Yeah. The hospital is Munsky Hospital. The orderlies are employed by that. It was strange. I don't know. I don't understand it. Again, would a kid get that? No, would not get that.
I can't imagine so.
Yeah.
You know, the antitrust people will be coming for the Munsky brothers real soon.
It's true.
They get the fridge. They deliver it. Mom comes home. She loves the fridge.
Oh, Andy, an Ice Pick 2000, the Cadillac of refrigeration. And avocado is my favorite color.
Well, it should be yellow, honey, because this thing's a lemon.
Spoiler, it wasn't a lemon. It just wasn't plugged in. So
I thought you were going to cut that clip off and just make it sound like she was reacting to a dildo that he bought her.
That would be perverted, and I wouldn't do something like that. But
no, you wouldn't.
Never. So mom loves the fridge, and then dad says, "Okay, you play with your fridge. I'm gonna take Louie to the doctor." This exchange, I think, bears repeating.
I'll take him, dear. You stay here and play with your new toy. Hey, fix us up some of that tuna delight, would you, honey? You doll.
So, like,
maybe I wasn't far off.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it has to have been written with the lowest common denominator in mind, as per my theory. Yeah. Just some gross shit. So. They go to
honey, you say, I'll take that. You just stay here and diddle. Okay?
Doing a taco. So they go to the doctor. Louie parallels, layers. He gives the doctor the same line as dad did here.
Give me a real needle. Give me the biggest one you got.
Give me the biggest one you got.
What 8-year-old talks like this?
Louie Anderson.
None.
So Louie is now fine. He's medicated. He's celebrating with dad, and you get like this weird dubbing thing. This is wild.
The few, the proud, and the medicated.
No way, I did it! All right!
You did it, kid, just like your old manicure.
The fade out on his talking.
I just figured it out.
Okay.
Alf. He sounds like Alf.
Oh, he does sound like Alf.
He does. Yeah.
Did Alf have a fade out when he said words?
Yes. Because he would run out of the room.
Give me the biggest needle you got in tomato. God damn it.
Tomato.
I could cut it here.
Did you know that?
But
that was his catchphrase.
Tomato?
All right. No, all right.
Oh,
like
was it really?
I was looking up. I was looking it up. I was like, Louie was famous, or not famous, but like known for his catchphrase. I'm like, oh, what's his catchphrase? And then later it says, all right. And I was like, what the fuck? What kind of catchphrase is that?
Well, it's actually it's catchy. I'll say that.
During his, in his stand-up, he would do that as like a transition. Like he'd tell the joke, people laughing, go, all right, and then move to the next one.
Oh, it's like a Kevin Meaney. That's not right.
Yeah.
Or Sam Kinison. Ah! So they go back to the house.
That sounded good. Sorry.
It sounded very good.
Yeah.
No doubt. So the fridge is filled with treats, and Louie reacts accordingly.
Brains galore. I'm back in the mix. Cakes, pastries, and muffins. Oh,
boy. When I was a kid, my parents gave me a book called Jelly Belly, and it was about a fat kid who I imagine sounded like Louie Anderson, and he went to like fat camp. It was kind of like that movie Heavyweights. I don't know if my parents are trying to send me a message. Didn't work, regardless. But that, in a nutshell, is Life with Louie. So let's rate it first on the scale of if you had a version of yourself that got put under like a stack of boxes and you came out and you were like a little adult version of yourself with a deeper voice, would you show that version of yourself Life with Louie? Dave?
Yes. Because I could say short version of myself, it gets better.
Fair enough. Shaylin?
No, because I wouldn't torture someone this way.
I think I would, because I imagine being under those boxes for so long, you need a little something to dull the pain. And what better than a little family-friendly comedy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let's go with 1 to 5 crusty Louie tissues. And Dave, you could start us off here.
1 used tissue. Yeah, just I don't want to ever watch this again. It was truly, truly frightening. Frightening stuff.
Fair enough.
And I've seen the new Halloween. Like, this is a lot scarier.
Is that possible? Then the requel C-boot?
the 3 boot?
Yeah.
I thought after watching the new Halloween, I was like, man, nothing's scarier than this. And then you showed me this, and here we go. you proved me wrong.
Did they continue the ritual of Sam Hain?
No, they did not.
They did not. That's all I'm in it for the Man in Black.
But you know what? You know who played Michael Myers in it? They recast him. It was and it was actually Louis Anderson.
Damn it.
Hey, oh Michael, all right. Hey, get me into this closet.
Oh, when your sister's in there and you want to put on the mask on, you're like, Shaylin, how many crusty tissues would you give this show?
I would give it 1/2.
Okay.
Of 1 crusty tissue.
Do you have notes and reasons why?
So I give it some credit because I can acknowledge that Louis Anderson is not a bad comedian, right? Like, has some punchlines, and this is mostly outside of the cartoon that I'm giving it a 1/2 tissue for, because I don't think he's an untalented guy. But this show, and specifically this episode, contained the following things, all of which not only do I hate, but they bring up extra levels of things. I'm going to require therapy after this, and here's my list. Schlurping, like blowing your nose.
Yes.
Whining. Sneezing. Needles. Injections. Louis Anderson. Children in Hollywood. Mumbling. And adults pretending to be children.
You don't like mumbling?
I don't like it when someone is fully capable of using proper elocution and instead they just don't finish words properly.
Because they're perverts.
No, there's no perversion involved. That's my list.
So pervert wasn't in that list at all.
I don't like perverts, but I'm not saying that this episode had perverts. That's what I'm saying.
You don't like perverts? You don't like Life with Louie? Louis Anderson is a pervert is what you're positing?
No. Stop it.
A equals B. B equals C.
I'm angry.
Yeah.
Did you hear it?
I will yell at both of you. You're both
mad.
disowned already.
I'm giving you both a puppy. That's how mad I am. Welcome to Madtown. Population U.
Dave's getting our dog tomorrow. I'm going to drive her to his house,
The
and
ultimate
he's going to
punishment.
have to deal with her.
That would suck.
And I will
All right, I'm
sleep
sorry.
past 6 a.m. finally.
So mad you're going to bake my favorite cake for me.
Lavender.
Carrot.
Hello,
Yes.
cake. So I will also give this a 1/2 of a crusty tissue, not because the tissues themselves are not plentiful, but this is just painful. A lot of times when we watch these as adults, I'm like, did I like this as a kid? And the answer was yes. In this case, I did not enjoy this as a kid. So I'm just going to say I had good taste. This is not good.
Yeah, I didn't like this as a kid either, which is that's a breakthrough for me. I loved some garbage cartoons when I was little. So
That's true. You did.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that we don't like this because prevailing internet opinion is that Life with Louie is good. You go to the Internet Movie Haterbase, it's got an 8.2 out of 10. So, I mean, maybe we're in the minority there.
All right.
So that inspired me to create a game. There are great classics in American cinema, but not everybody loves them. So I'm going to like to introduce you both to the Internet Movie Haterbase. I'm going to put some sweet reverb under that. Here's the game. I looked at the IMDb top 250. So just the crowdsourced best movies ever, an infallible list to say the least. What I looked at were what percentage of reviews were either rated a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10, right? So like if I said Batman Returns, how many people rated that a 1 or a 2? Make sense?
Is a 1 bad?
Yes.
Okay.
When would a 1 out of 10 be good?
I'm just making sure that I'm understanding the rules properly.
Golf.
Fair. Low score wins.
Deaths per capita.
Everybody wins with that.
And so you're both going to guess for each movie. Whoever gets closest wins. And we're not playing Price is Right rules, just the closest.
Okay.
I'm going to give you both a clue right up front. none of the answers are like 30% because these are movies that are high in the top 250. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And then I have little treats for each movie as we go here.
Great.
So let's start with a thematically appropriate movie, beloved holiday classic. It's a Wonderful Life, number 25 on the IMDb top 250. What percentage of raters rated this a 1 or a 2? Who would like to go first?
I would.
Okay.
4%.
4%. A solid guess.
I'm going to say 6%.
Okay. Shaylin, you get the point on this one. 2% of people rated it a 1 or a 2.
Oh, wow.
But that 1 or a 2, vocal minority. This is from user Jeff-Mead13, written in February 2008. The title is Overrated Sentimental Tosh. A good reason for banning Christmas. It's not enough that saintly Jimmy Stewart hogs 90 minutes of screen time without once showing a genuinely human emotion, other than the rampant self-pity of suicidal Jimmy. But I've also got to face a blundering angel sweet enough to be everybody's favorite grandfather. Wretch. A sweet wife who should have clobbered the mad drunk with a book on coming out of the library, and a lovingly inadequate drunken uncle. I'm sure my ire wouldn't be as great if it were not for the obscenely holy reputation this film has, but right now, I cheerfully burn every copy of this evil movie. I can't wait for an angel to show me what the world would be like without it, although I can't imagine that one ever hearing a bell again. So,
ooh, what a zing.
Do you want to hear a little bit of trivia about It's a Wonderful Life?
Boy, do I.
Do you know that Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street are named for the 2 cab drivers?
I don't know that I've ever seen It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh.
So that's not as mind-blowing as one would think.
I can't
They're minor characters.
disagree with this reviewer.
So you are also joining them in the IMH.
No, I don't mind It's a Wonderful Life,
Okay.
but like he has a solid take on it, or this reviewer does. Like he like Jimmy Stewart's kind of a mean guy. He's a drunk sometimes, like and then he's just this mopey guy just walking around like wishing he was dead. Like I don't know.
But if it weren't for him, then he wouldn't have stopped the pharmacist from poisoning that boy.
I'll take your word for it. So, Shaylin, you got the point on that one.
Yeah.
Moving on. Number 15 movie. Classic sci-fi film. Empire Strikes Back.
All right.
How many people voted? Well, what percentage people voted it a 1 or a 2?
Dave, you can go first because I went first last time.
3.
3. Okay. Shaylin?
2.
Answer is 1.7.
Yeah.
Whoa. But as usual, a vocal minority. This is from user Manko-258007. One of the worst in the history, and OMG, so much overrated. The Star Wars movies were the worst movies of all time. Science fiction by itself is bad enough, let alone being a cult-like nerd flick. And come on, what's the whole long time ago thing? If we don't have flying machines now, we most certainly didn't have them in the past. First, the movie does not have a proper ending. You know what? I'm just going to cut it at that.
Yeah.
That's a good take.
I bet this person doesn't ever feel joy. Ever. Based on that review. That's a person who's handed like a delicious, fresh-made milkshake.
Mm-hmm.
And they take a sip of it and they say, no, there's sugar in this. Like, this is a terrible person to hang out with.
Now, you could say
that person probably watched Game of Thrones and was like, they didn't have dragons in the medieval times. That's inaccurate.
Oh, this person didn't get that far. They saw the commercials and they were just like, ugh, why do they make this?
Mm-hmm. It's like, I know in today's culture, there's a big like trolling mentality. So I tried to find reviews that were older than like 2010 when things were a little more earnest. So we're above boards here.
There isn't even an ending to that movie that's midpoint of the trilogy.
All right, let's move on. We don't want to get too in the weeds with any one movie because we can also talk about, we're in the top 10.
All right.
The director, a young Quentin Tarantino, sniffing feet. The movie, Pulp Fiction. What percentage of people voted it a 1 or a 2?
8.
8. You think it's a divisive film?
I do.
Okay.
Divisive. I'm going to say 5%.
I was surprised at this one. It's only 2% of people.
Wow. Well done, Dave.
What I found when I was looking through the reviews, though, was that these people, they shared some traits. I think this will come through in this review. This is from user RoMorg18 from December 2005. The most ludicrously inflated reputation of any film. The hugely overrated trivial chatting, the grotesque violence, the moral vacuum, the deadly slowness, the length, about an hour too long, make it incomprehensible today how this picture ever made people rave the way they did on this board. The greatest film ever? Excuse me, this is a feature film that says nothing, depicts no authentic feelings or character development, is grossly self-indulgent and filled with idiotically implausible situations, such as people firing powerful handguns repeatedly, simultaneously, and then hanging around chatting as if nobody would ever report the firing and summon the law. And we go on and on and on. The Pulp
and summon the law.
The Pulp Fiction folks, they got some inflated sense of their intelligence.
Ooh, boy.
It's
Jesus.
Wowza.
It's quite a thing.
Calm down. It's a movie.
So Dave, you are now on the board.
Yeah.
It's 2-1. So, all right. So next we're going to move a little lower in the 250, but I know a movie that we all enjoy quite a bit. That's Jurassic Park, number 172. So not as high in the top 250, but, you know, by these standards, it's still pretty okay. What is the percentage of people who voted it as just complete shit? Or Jurassic puke, as one reviewer called it.
5.
Okay.
I'm going to be bold here. I'm going to go 10.
0.8.
Whoa.
So people liked it, but they didn't love it.
Huh.
Isn't that weird?
Huh.
Could we hear from somebody that didn't love it?
We sure can. John Bob C9, October 2005.
Silver Soups.
This has to be the worst, most manipulative, lowbrow, dreadful film I have ever seen. You cannot be older than 10 or have an IQ higher than the outside temperature on a blizzard-ridden midwinter's day in Antarctica to appreciate this film. Goldblum is dreadful beyond belief. He can't even chew... Very untrue. He can't even chew gum properly. And Neil and his girlfriend, whoever it is that plays her, are badly cast and deliver the disgracefully bad dialogue with cringe-inducing cheesiness. It is obvious from this that Spielberg values money and the distorted kind of fame that making the blockbuster as an end in itself seems to guarantee above all considerations of art or intelligence. Let's skip down a little. Ironic, then, that this revolting tripe carried a PG-13 rating in many countries? Probably not. A lot of people seem to love Jurassic Puke. Me being elitist? Possibly. A case of mass mental illness? Probably. So, John Bob C9, definitely elitist. I think that's fair to say.
Wow.
My father-in-law is a very serious man. He loves documentaries. He loves movies about like historical events. But he will not stand for science fiction. Mm-hmm. He'll watch Jurassic Park and be like, "You gotta be kidding me. This wouldn't happen." Yeah. It's science fiction. Like, what were you expecting? Like real science? Yeah, he might be this reviewer here. Like, this is ridiculous. You don't chew gum that way. We watched, my wife and I watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with him. Mm-hmm. And, there's the beginning scene where Steve Martin's running through the city trying to catch a cab. And he's like, nobody would run like that. It's just Steve Martin trying to ham it up. Like, yes, obviously, no one runs like Steve Martin runs in a movie. It's
he's a comedian.
Yeah, that's that's like criticizing the Tom Cruise run. You just don't do things like that. It's good though. Like when you have opinions, you got to have them real strong. Like
strong opinions.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got a few left here. Let's go toward the top of the charts. The number 2 movie on the IMDb top 250 has been number 1 at points. The top 2 tend to switch a lot. The Godfather. What percent of people did not like it? Maybe they think of him as the Claude Father? I don't know. I'm just workshopping it.
1.
All right. Shaylin says 1.
More like the Slog Father. I'm going to go 0.4%.
0.4. A little more divisive than that. 2.8. So Shaylin takes that point as well. Movie fan dash 2414. just don't doubt their credentials.
I know what I'm talking about.
Movie fan. What the fuck? Anyway, this is from February 1999.
Hold on, I gotta think of my IMDb username. What do I like? What am I a fan of? Oh, movies. Yeah.
Film Dude 6969. Number one movie. It's madness, I tell you. Madness. I'm voting and commenting about this film just to bring it down from its pedestal and invite everyone to do the same. Get off your fucking high horse, Coppola. I have nothing against Italians, the mafia, or any of the principals, but best film ever? Never. It was an entertaining film which displayed some rather ridiculous acting and a gross piece of defamation perpetrated on the Italians. I have nothing against violence and gore, ... even sex, on screen when appropriate. But this is a ludicrous consensus your readership has reached, and it must be corrected. Sincerely yours, moviefan-2414. The signature's not there, but I feel inappropriate.
Yeah. Movie fan and the last 4 digits of my social. There we go. That's good.
Movie fan and the number of movies that I've seen.
Like the mention of Italians in Italy
several times
is strange. It's a strange thing to bring up. Am I wrong in thinking that?
If we're talking like thou dost protest too much, that feels like it to me. But
yeah,
I don't know. There's an interesting phenomenon with this and the number one movie on the list where people admit to doing like protest votes, like they feel like the movie's too high. So there were a lot of user comments that are written like, I don't really think this is a 1 or a 2 out of 10. I just want to bring it down from its pedestal. And it's like, what a fucking sad life you must lead.
Yeah.
Like, I have spent more time than a lot of people bullshitting around on the internet, but I'm not going on to like the IMDb boards or like Yelp just to bring down like a restaurant or a movie. Like, what are you gaining?
Yeah, like what a weird crusade. If you liked it, just say that you did. And if you didn't, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm like, no. I gotta, this movie, it's getting a fat head. Yeah. I gotta bring it down a notch.
It's like, I feel like this gave rise to like 8chan and the far right movement. This is the early days of like the Russians hacking our polls and shit. It's all based off of people like Movie Fan 2414.
Yeah, they're trying to they're trying to divide a nation with their Godfather opinions.
Like I feel like the Venn diagram of people who go on to the IMDb ratings pages and write these kind of reviews and people who just haven't had a significant other in like 10 years, it has to be almost a perfect circle. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. They overlap very nicely.
It's just
together.
like, it's just one shape. So from number 2, there's really only one way to go, and that's up. The number 1 movie on the IMDb Top 250, Shawshank Redemption.
Love that movie.
Most do.
I have no dissenting opinions on it.
A small group does. What percentage of people?
You can go first, Dave.
0.8%.
0.8%. Okay.
I was going to say 0.5.
You still could say 0.5.
That's what I'm going with.
Dave, you get the point on this one. It is 1.8% of people.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
And this one's going to get a quote unquote snarling critique from Neil and the Bunnymen 17. July 2002. Awful. A dreadful disgrace. The film is the most cliched in cinematic history and is worthy of no respect. Like Rodney Dangerfield. Even worse is how it is so flawless, yet it still is of no quality. Like that sentence. I do not know how this film can be revered over others such as Psycho, Apocalypse Now, Raging Bull, Easy Rider, The Godfather, The Killing Fields, Some Like It Hot, and Casablanca, amongst others, shockingly horrendous. So, that truly was a snarling critique from Neil and the Bunnymen.
I was waiting for like a one of these is not like the other to sneak into that list.
I was too.
Like Godfather, Apocalypse Now, Baby's Day Out,
Me, Myself, and Irene,
and Casablanca.
So, Shaylin, you've clinched the win, but I have one more secret film for you guys, and it's a recent addition to the top 250. It's everyone's favorite incel. It's Joker. Currently, number 13 on the IMDb top 250.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Already?
Yeah, it'll go down. But a divisive film to critics and fans, it seems like. But I don't know. What does the internet think? How many people voted this a 1 or a 2 out of 10? The number may surprise you.
I'm gonna say 7%.
Okay.
4%.
1.4.
What?
Really?
Which I guess makes sense if it's rated that high, but I don't know.
But Shawshank had 1.8.
Well, I'll tell you how it works. The Joker's got his incel army, because they have nothing better to do. They're going on IMDb and giving the thing a 10.
Makes sense.
But one person won't be fooled. This is Asbadia14. The review is simple. It's short. It's sweet. Don't be sheep.
That's all it says.
And thus ends our trip to the Internet Movie Haterbase.
You're all ants. You're all ants. Don't be sheep. I like that. It was like the end of a show.
I saw Joker in there and I was like, what the fuck? I find it always happens when a new movie comes out that it's inflated, but I don't know. I thought that one was divisive enough that it wouldn't have been up there.
You shared this with me the other night, Ben. One of my new favorite things on the internet is the Joker dancing down the stairs to the Heartbreak Kids music.
Yeah.
Oh man, it is a goddamn delight.
It's very funny. On to the last mailbag of Schlocktoonbrr. Name no longer subject to change. Because we're at the end. You can't change it now.
Name affixed.
Unless the name is now Pookpoonbrr.
It's not.
Okay. If you haven't discussed Halloween candy by now, y'all have really lost the plot. What's the weirdest thing you've ever gotten from a trick-or-treat? There's a second part too, but trick-or-treat, usually a time for big candy bars, Reese's Pieces and such, but do you ever get anything bizarre?
Shaylin, take this one. You have the best answers to these. Just I know you have something weird.
One time a farmer gave me bees.
Paper bag of scrambled eggs.
So there's this great trick-or-treat neighborhood when I was growing up, and I had a friend who lived there.
Mm-hmm.
And so his mom would drive their minivan, and my mom would drive in the passenger seat. And I'm pretty sure they drank wine while they drove. Anyway, I'm going to get there. The tailgate would be open on the back of the minivan, and my sister,
Kids are falling out.
my friend, and his little brother and I would ride on the back bumper in between like the houses that were further spaced, and we'd like walk 6 houses, get a ride, walk 3 houses, get a ride.
The question was about the economy.
I'm getting there. So one year we realized there's this house down a hill that we've never gone to before.
Uh-huh.
So we went down.
And it was haunted.
There was this older couple.
And they were haunted.
They invited us into their house.
Okay.
And we knew we weren't supposed to say yes, but they were very enthusiastic, and there were 4 of us, so we figured we could.
Gimp costumes.
No, they were not.
Okay.
It was the mom and dad from People Under the Stairs.
They had a bunch of like McDonald's cheeseburgers, like wrapped on the table.
Oh, what the fuck?
And cider and ginger snap cookies.
Uh-huh.
And they gave us all full-size candy bars, and they tried to get us to eat, and we declined because we weren't even supposed to be in their house, so we didn't want to have to explain to our moms that we ate cheeseburgers because that would have been weird.
How many kids are there?
4.
Okay, all right.
So then we get back to his house, and we dump out our pillowcases to like check our candy. And wouldn't you believe,
Just a used condom.
the full-size candy bars that we got
Uh-huh.
were all like tinted green and had like weird like divots in them. And I'm pretty sure it was just like they had been manhandled and like were really old.
Like they like manhandled, wink wink.
Ew, no, not to that degree.
Oh,
But I
okay.
think that this older couple, like they lived so far down a driveway that we never.
They had this film on it. It was weird.
There was film on it, but I think it was like old chocolate.
Old
You know how it
chocolate.
like
No, it was
oxidizes and it changes like to light tan kind of a color.
Whatever
Yeah,
helps you sleep.
like a light fuzz, yeah.
So gross. And I think this
smells
is the
like
first time I've
Astrolube.
ever said in a place where my mom would have known about the cheeseburgers. But we declined. We said no. So that's the weirdest thing.
I'm so proud of you.
It's the weirdest trick-or-treat offering I received. How about you guys?
I probably would have grabbed a hamburger.
I would not have.
It was just like a tray of them. It was very odd.
That's true.
Oh, that sounds like a dream, you know?
If I had trusted for half a second that these people weren't trying to poison us, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't convinced even then.
But you were convinced they were perverts.
No.
It's okay. They're probably dead.
Almost certainly by now. Yeah, they were old.
They were almost certainly perverts.
Dead perverts.
You heard it. You heard it.
Derverts.
Necrophiliacs. So, Dave, any weird treats or tricks, I guess?
I can't think of any weird treats, but I can think of terrible ones. Like one time there was a family, they were like, the woman is so excited. Like she like ran out of the house to, like, I could see up ahead, like she was running out of the house and like giving the kids treats before they could even like reach the stairs to her door. And I was like, oh man, what are they giving out? And I got there. It was like unsharpened pencils.
She just loved trick-or-treaters.
I guess so. Like, and it wasn't even like cool Halloween pencils. It was just like yellow number 2 pencils. So that kind of sucked. My friend, he would go trick-or-treating. He would only go like up and down the street and get an okay bag of candy. It was fine. But the reason he did that was because he would go to his aunt's house and she would just give him massive packages of king-size candy bars.
All right.
So he would get like a whole sheet of king-size Hershey bars. So you get like 4-pack. And she would just give him that. So he wouldn't go trick-or-treating. He would just go to their house and get these candy bars.
Kind of sounds
smart.
Nice. Yeah.
It sounds nice, but like, I don't know, where's the fun?
Because that's always the worst part is like, because you go trick-or-treating, but like, I don't like that fruit candy shit. So like, I have all this stuff
like
you
a
can't
shitty
use.
Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Like, those candies suck.
Like a fucking
Mary
Almond
Janes.
Joy bullshit. Like, no,
I like Almond Joys too.
God,
like
you really are like the oldest person alive. What's going on? I like peanut brittle.
What's wrong with peanut brittle?
Peanut brittle's disgusting.
I dressed up like TR and got some penny candy.
You probably like those UFO shaped candies that taste like styrofoam. They got the little balls in them.
Yes, I do.
Oh my fucking god!
Ugh.
What's wrong with you?
Flying saucers.
Those are disgusting.
No, they're not.
The worst. Like the pencils are pretty bad. The
But
Mary
were they
Janes are bad.
Ticonderogas?
You know what? I didn't check, and I don't remember, and I wish I had. But the worst is like when like somebody would make homemade candies. And, like, wrap them up in like the weird like colorful cellophane, and you'd be like, I'm not eating this. This is clearly poison.
We were not allowed to eat those candies. Those were confiscated.
Yeah, no, we weren't big on those. One time, some lady, she brought out a bowl full of change.
That happened to me too.
So like, you know what I mean? Like,
we had a quarter guy,
and of course too, like she
Also
lived at like it was on a hilly street, so her house was on a hill, so we had to go up like 2 flights of stairs to get there. And you say trick or treat, and she fucking comes out. She just drops a handful of change in the bag. Now, that sucked for a couple of reasons. One, it's not candy, you know? And two,
but that's heavy.
That shit's fucking heavy.
Yeah.
Walking around dragging a bag full of chains, I'm jingling like I'm a fucking, I don't know, banker that carries change all the time. It's late. You come up with a metaphor.
You put a dollar sign on your pillowcase you're carrying
You're
around.
a bank
It just looks
robber.
So, all right. So part 2 of the question. Also, I needs to know if any of you are Halloween pranksters. Don't break my heart by saying yes. Sincerely yours, a concerned listener. So for me, this one's easy. I was too much of a coward to do Halloween pranks. Although I will say one time I was with a friend and his dad on Halloween night, and I think they were driving me home or something. And we saw 2 kids that were just throwing bologna at cars. And I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life. And before I die, I'm going to get a pack of bologna. I'm going to throw it at a car, probably mine, because I don't know.
Because you feel guilty.
Yeah, it's run to fuck up people's stuff. But I don't know. You guys do any pranks? Shaylin, did you, I don't know, play Jacob's Ladder next to the barn before you got the milk?
We didn't.
Pushed over someone's outhouse.
I didn't do pranks, but there was a year that I trick-or-treated in my dad's neighborhood and made a killing dressed as the face on the milk carton. And then I went a second time.
What?
I was dressed as the face on the milk.
I understand.
So people associated me with that costume.
Mm-hmm.
And I got home and my dad was like, "You want to go again?" And I was like, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, we'll put a sheet on you and you can be a ghost and you can do double candy." And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to do that. And I went through the neighborhood a second time, and I literally had half of a pillowcase just full of candy. Like, it was hard to carry home.
You're like a literary trickster figure. You know, I don't know what to expect from you.
So it wasn't a prank so much as just
To
greed.
the movie Hard Candy.
It was a disappointing sequel.
It's a
It was
prequel,
just
more like
me counting my Reese's peanut butter cups while my dad stole them.
The year was 1912. Dave, were you a bad boy back in the day?
No, I didn't. I was way too nervous to pull any pranks. I always thought I was getting in trouble.
Yeah.
No way I was going to do that.
So good boys and girls outside of the felon here at the table with their double treats, taken away from the rest of you. Real capitalist over there. No comment. If you want to get in on the fun, email.
Jalen?
I'm just making faces at Ben.
Email at watchbotspod.com, Twitter at watchbotspod. So this is the last official episode of Schlocktoonbrr. Locked in. It's locked in. The frights are over. You know, we can return to our normal staid lives. And I don't know, you guys cool with it?
I'm good.
I enjoy this shocking conclusion.
The chills are no more.
Yeah.
The shakes remain, but that's just a medical issue.
I think it was a great month. Well done, guys.
Pat on the back.
Bravo.
Brava.
Brava.
All right. I forgot the intro. Hold on. There we go. All right. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Jiffy at WatchBotsPod. Please subscribe. I don't know. Just subscribe on iTunes. Write things, good or bad.
Rate and review.
Yeah, 5 stars or more for the names. For Dave, Spooky Dave, and Creepy Shailen. This is Murder Ben. Thank you for listening to another episode of WatchBots. The journey is over. You have survived until morning, and until next week, I don't know. Tomato. All right.
Tomato.
Sure, great big fat person. Goodbye.
Tomato!